Alright, so the Loki Season 2 finale is finally here, and all I can say is, wow, what a great way to close out the season, and even for Loki and his character arc, and even for all what this is building up to, especially for the character, for the multiverse, even for what's next for the future, even for Secret Wars, and so much more. And so this will be my review for the finale, going over everything that went down, and even going over the ending and what we can expect for the future of the multiverse, especially with everything moving forward and everything that we know with Secret Wars, Deadpool 3, and more. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so myself future visits. So let's get to it. We go back to that moment where Victor Timely was going out there to fix the temporal loom with a throughput multiplier, but sadly that he died. And even Loki, what he was trying to do is that he was going to rewrite the story, and by going back in time to that same place, and by trying to do it over and over again, but Timely ends up dying, and even with trying out different things, and even going back to tell him different instructions, and even going back to earlier, but even way earlier for when Timely met Obi. We see Loki here walking through everything to everyone, and that I need the temporal output, and even to load the throughput multiplier so that they can make the rings bigger, and to fix the temporal loom, and even Loki asking Obi on how long it would take, and then Obi responds by saying that it would take centuries, and then luckily a century does pass, and even Loki walking through all this, he's trying to prevent Timely from dying, and even to fix all this, and even Loki providing him instructions on how to get out there, and it works. But even though with the branches that they're duplicating, and that there's just too many, and with the multiverse it keeps on growing, and even with having too many branches, that even though I'd even increase the throughput, the loom will always fail, and then we see the temporal loom explode, and then we see Loki doing the greatest thing is that he's time slipping all the way back to the season 1 finale, for when Loki and Sylvie is with He Who Remains, and even as we go back in time and to this exact moment of when Sylvie is about to kill He Who Remains, where Loki tells Sylvie to not trust him, and Loki has to make the obvious choice to kill Sylvie. Next we see Loki and He Who Remains having a conversation, and then with He Who Remains, that brings out that with his very timely that he it explains that they're having problems with the temporal loom, and it's needed to be fixed, and that he reveals that with the temporal loom it's a failsafe, and that is to prevent a breakdown. He says that with the branches that are overflowing, and leave the ones that are not supposed to be there, and even so if they can fix it, well, Loki reveals what he's going to do, and that he says he's going to break the loom, and even what the consequences it could bring, and what can happen to his friends, and that all Loki wants to do is just to claim his throne, and hopefully protect the multiverse, which I'll get to at the end. But even so, well, those branches that are just all over the place, and now Loki is now going to have to find another way just to save it all. And next, so we see Loki, and now going back in time to this exact moment from season 1, when Mobius is about to show Loki all the scenes from his life. Mobius, he tells Loki the story about how they were going to prune a variant of an 8-year-old boy, but then he has suddenly paused with a timeline as sort of branch, and even with more variants that are starting to come out, and even by the end of it, and he realizes out with his partner is Renslayer, and even with what Mobius tells Loki to do, even what Loki has to do is do the impossible and to possibly break the loom, and possibly the only option that he has. We see the most incredible scene ever, and that's when Loki will walk onto the gateway and then breaking the loom, and that as he wants to create his own temporal loom, so that means he is in control of all those branches. So what he does is preventing those branches from dying and turning them into gold, and now he's taking all those branches with him, so he can now claim his throne and to give all of them a chance at free will. And we see him with all those branches and creating the world tree, and that is a Yagodel tree, and now I think this is great. So now Loki, so now that Loki has now claimed his throne, he's become he who remains, and now is in control of the entire multiverse, and now he just stays there and keeps an eye on all of the branches. We see the TVA that is back to normal, and then we see this painting of the world tree that is right there, and now with Loki who's now in control, now he's in control of all those branches, and now with the multiverse, and now incursions are now going to happen, and with variants are now starting to come back. But then we see the TVA back to normal, and then when Mobius tells B-15 that he is leaving to go experience the real world, and then when B-15 replies that by saying that he'll always have a seat at the TVA, and then we see his house. And when Mobius and Sylvie they're thinking that Loki is not there with them because he's now in charge of the multiverse, and he's in charge of all those branches, and he's turned them into gold, and that makes him the hero. He's now on his throne. Now he gave everyone free will, and now with Obi, he got new copies of the TVA handbook. It's Renslayer and the Void, and then we get this one last shot of Mobius looking at his home, and then in this last scene right here, we see Loki who is now claimed his throne and now in charge of all the branches. I mean, I'm so glad that Marvel ended this show so well. I thought it was a fantastic finale of the way that they handled his character and his arc, and all he wanted to do was to claim his throne, even though with those branches that he's now in charge of. Now, even for like things that set up down the road, I think it's a setup for Secret Wars and so much more. And yeah, so my final thoughts are that I enjoyed the finale, even with Loki and him as a character, and I liked how Marvel has built up his character arc so well with him trying to claim his throne, and now that he is in charge of the multiverse, even all those branches, and he who remains, and now it sets up everything else for the multiverse, even for Secret Wars, and that's what everything else to look forward to. I'm just really excited for what's to come. Plus, I enjoyed this entire show as a whole. I think Loki continues to be a great MCU and Disney Plus show. It felt really cinematic, and I thank you guys for us sticking with me for my coverage for season 2, and I hope that's the way to see for what the future holds as well. So that is going to be it for this video, and let me know if you guys thoughts in the comments down below, and what your thoughts on the finale for Loki season 2, and give me a rating to 1 out of 10, and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and turn notifications about future videos, and also follow my social, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.